estrogen.
Yeah.
However, there are things that must be done for the body to continue to keep levels up. Exercise, hard manual labor. Men usually work out or do hard work, but I guess in this era of sitting behind a desk and doing other things,
The workout is
now
slow.
they're working out is different.
Sure.
And instead of chopping wood, they're busting logs. I'm sorry, they're they're doing hair instead of cutting lawns. Nevertheless, I know that is wrong and inappropriate.
Yeah.
But that's controversial, Carter.
Yeah, yeah. And they're I read a periodical about how children are susceptible to homosexuality when they're children, they're babies actually, because of depending on the relationship with the mom and the father or the lack thereof. The siblings play a big part of that too. So they were saying that we always hear about the overbearing father, and then the over nurturing mother, or the absence of the father. So the mother really overly nurtures the child, and then he becomes susceptible. Okay, some of that I will agree with, but we need to dig deeper into that because there are many children who turn out just fine with just one mother. They turn out to be. They live wonderful heterosexual lives. They become doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. Okay, but that doesn't mean that none of us are not, that we're not susceptible. Because I think we all are susceptible to some diseases. You may catch a disease, and I may not. It's the same disease. We're in the same room. We're breathing the same air, but you may catch it because of your immune system, what have you. So I think psychologically, sometimes something could happen. We could be twins. But psychologically, you may be wired different than me, so you may catch some things that I want. And you're a school teacher,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Al? Okay, so there's some children who learn to take some right. So they
learn what?
Differently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, different learning styles. Yes,
absolutely.
different learning styles.
So I think psychologically,
multiple intelligences.
Yeah,
they're called in the pedagogical world.
There you go. So there are 5 kids in a family, and one turned out to be gay, not because he was raped or attacked, or something, but there's his environment. I
had the privilege of working with a gay man, and I had the opportunity many times because he was always in my classroom for whatever reason, for professional reasons. So I just one day asked him, and I asked him what and how and why, and and he just said I preferred it. He's the son of a preacher, traditional Southern Baptist. He was a white guy. But he was one of those overtly, how do I say it? One of those overtly over the top gay guys.
Right.
And but I said, is all of that necessary? Similar to the question I asked before. He said it was just something he was attracted to. And then the longer we talked about it, he wasn't athletic. He wasn't very good looking in comparison to his brothers. So long story short, it became an acceptance issue.
Sure.
I'll take love from whoever will give it to me, and however I can get it.
Absolutely.
And his words were, to be exact, what does it matter how I finish the act, whether it's here pointing to his mouth or there pointing to other places, as long as the act is finished and the people involved have enjoyed themselves and they love each other.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And whereas carnally, that may make sense to someone who has no knowledge of God. But when you say you know God, and, as this writer says, that I might know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, some of that suffering is resisting to do what would come natural. Because God knows there's some things I would want to do in the natural, but I can't do because I say I love God.
It's so wonderful that you said that, because that is a segue to something I'd like to interject. When you say that doesn't make sense to someone who knows God versus someone who doesn't know God, here we are again. Because the gay person is so spoken down to and treated indifferently in churches, many of them don't have a relationship with God. Many of them don't go to Bible class and Sunday school and delve deep into the Word to learn it and become part of it and to conform it, because we've already condemned them. They're going to hell anyway. Why do all that? I'm just going to put on my suit on Sunday, go direct the choir, play the organ, write my songs, get paid, and live a good life. That's the mindset of many of those people who are out there. And it's sad, and I blame it on the church. The way that a lot of them feel. Why they're not accepted in the church, especially the black church.
Why the homosexual not accepted?
Yes.
Oh, no, they accept it.
They accept it because they're very prominent. Many of the greatest.
Oh, they wouldn't be in the church.
They're not accepted. They're not accepted because preachers are still preaching that they're going to go to hell.
Well, yes.
They're not accepted.
Yes.
They're there paying their tithes, directing the choirs, writing the songs, playing the instruments, because we know a whole lot of gay musicians, gay singers, artists, etc., etc.
Let me ask you
something. I'm going to go to hell for lusting.
I'll take your gift.
Sure.
But you can't go to heaven. Man.
I'm going to hell for lusting. I'm going to hell for adultery.
And write all these songs and make all these
And if I don't lose weight, I'm going to hell for being obese.
Well,
come on,
I think it depends on your circle, Nedra, because I hear from the pulpit preaching against every sin known to man. Everyone, but you hearing homosexual. That's what you're hearing.
No, I'm not hearing that anymore because I go to a Affirming church. What I'm saying is, in my 48 years, I have heard it over and over and over again, and I have heard ministers make it seem like it's this blaring worst sin of the world when you got your musicians screwing a sister so and so who's married to brother so and so, and that's okay. And they having babies in the church. Come on, it's crazy.
Yeah, I used to say the same thing when I would hear the fornication over the pulpit, because I was a huge fornicator. All right, I only heard fornicating when he taled about a sin. I didn't hear about that.
But I wasn't gay all my life. Let me just tell you.
Well, I was a fornicator all mine.
I wasn't. 29 years old is when I entered into a gay relationship.
Okay. Sure.
And like I said, 18 years later, it ended. I just ended a 4-year stint with another relationship. And at this point,
so now you player. Okay, guys, she's single. No. She's single, guys.
No, seriously, I really have. I do. I have a lot of healing to do. I believe in taking time off to get past all my issues and then put myself, if I'm to be in a relationship again. I mean, I do have a 1-year-old son that I'm raising. So,
sure. Do you fear God?
Of course I do.
Okay, so how do you continue, and how are you continue to be open? Okay, see the issue is the openness. Because there are things that we do, and we usually hide those things. I'm not a perfect man. I ain't tell y'all all the things that I've done, and say and do. I'm just not going to do it. But how can you possibly continue to be open, knowing that that this, I know that God is not pleased with it. So if God's not pleased with it and everybody sees this and they know that God ain't pleased with it, how can I continue in this?
Because my understanding, just like with everything else, it's an evolving issue.
All right.
Right here at this time in my life, I don't believe that God is okay with my lifestyle. In 4 or 5 years, I don't know what I will think.
Right.
I don't know what I'll be taught, what will come to me that I will accept, what will be, you know what I mean? I don't know. 10 years ago, if you asked me, would states such as Illinois, Indiana, and all these other states gay marriage, I'd be like, it's never going to happen. But it has happened. Now it's a law. So now what do you tell the gay person? Oh, you're not supposed to be gay. Well, the Bible tells us you can obey the laws of the land. So if this is open to you and it's an option, who are you to tell me it's wrong if I do it?
So if the law changed where I can have sex with your little child is 1 year old, that's the law. Is it okay?
There are laws that are open already like that. There are men
marrying
children.
You okay with
across
that?
the world? No, I'm not okay with it.
But you okay with now that you said, but we got to obey the law.
Adult. That's not an adult. That's a child.
No, it's about the law. Your statement is about the law. We have to agree with the law.
No, I didn't say
some laws are not right because slavery was a law.
I didn't say we have to agree. I'm just saying I threw it in there as a padding to the fact that people say, it's not right and you're not supposed to do this and blah, 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 blah. Well, now it's a law. Now what are you going to say? It's okay now. What is your issue now?
But that doesn't make it okay just because it's a law.
I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, personally, I think this law was written for finances. It's money.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. However, things change. The world evolve. And does it mean we have to become part of it? No, not necessarily. But if you're already there and it's in your favor, why not?
I see. Yeah, well, some people can say you're flip-flopping. Are you a Republican?
No, I'm not a flip-flopper, but I'm an open individual.
Yeah, well,
I'm an open individual, and I've always been an open individual.
Sure.
Just because you think a certain way don't mean I think a certain way. Just because you feel like the way to get this done is this way, I might find a different way to do it. I've just been that person all my life.
That's true.
I know I like females.
Sure.
I know I don't want to be with a man.
Right.
Period. Right. Inc.
Now, let's look at the list of animal behavior as far as homosexuality is concerned. It doesn't just happen in humans.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
That's something.
Well,
yeah.
I know you know that.
Bison, caribou, domestic cats, cattle.
Wait a minute, cats?
Dogs, lions, and
Wait a minute,
raccoons,
cats?
giraffes, and
Cats?
goats, horses, foxes.
Cats?
Yes. Bluegill sunfishes, great
Cats?
jewelfish, reptiles, all these reptiles, the cumin green amphibians. They all have homosexual behavior. Morning geckos, even the insects, the blowfish,
Cats?
the blowfly. I mean,
That's cannibalistic. A cat eating cat. That's cannibalism.
The club-tailed dragonfly. Okay, and the list goes on and on. So, Al, why do you think? How is it possible that animals can portray or act upon these gay tendencies? How was that possible? Was it the sin of Adam?
Yeah, because the earth was totally different before sin entered. So there's everything wrong can be blamed on Adam.
I see. Everything wrong is blamed on Adam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as far as these animals are concerned, if all that was the case, you would see that kind of stuff on video. Because the porn industry would be showing it. In fact, I'm going to go check the internet because I want to see a cat eat a cat. Now, I did see a dog with a cat, and I thought that was crazy. They made a cartoon called Cat Dog. However,
Nedra, this is what I deal with. This is your cousin. This is your cousin.
Now, I will say that,
Yes.
I say, I am a child. Okay. Now, I really find that interesting that there's a listing there, because one thing I also know from meeting many people in the gay community, they are shrewd with pushing their agenda. Mm-hmm. And right now they have a vicious attack on being accepted. They have a vicious attack. They have a strong takeover spirit because they've been rejected and or misled. In the interim, some of the people are being lost by the wayside, because I do believe there are some that want to be delivered and can be delivered and have been delivered.
Yeah.
And have been.
Sure.
I'm not saying that they don't have the tendencies. I have friends that will just be asexual or celibate, or say that they're eunuch for God's sake rather than be in sin. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he goes to a 12-step program or if he goes to
11 and a half steps.
Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know.
Sure. Charlotta Brown, let's go to Facebook. Scripture doesn't support keeping gays in the church. There is a process to remove anyone who continues in sin and known sin. We seldom see it done, but she put but and ... Angie Mims says this: my last point is that certain subjects shouldn't be discussed. Why? Because of a spirit, not the person. You cannot rationalize with a force that's designed for a certain reason to take us out. However, your power through Jesus Christ and love can do more than trying to reason with a spirit. If we did more praying than attacking, more fasting than panicking, and stop compromising, we wouldn't be dealing with this on such a large scale. Sure, it would be existent, but not prevalent. Mm-hmm. The levity will not come until Christians really know how to exercise their authority past titles and degrees and rhetoric.
So let's not call anybody a reverend.
Yeah. I was not. Everything in this world is about money. The world doesn't care anything about your soul, and that's true as well. Yep. Let me look at my notes here. I got some things I want to ask you here. Do you guys know, this being a men's show, the Men Chronicles, you know men in the gospel music industry?
I know a few.
Okay, we don't have to call no names, okay? But you know them, right? Why do you think? Yeah, if y'all had a camera to see Nedra's face right now, okay. Why do you think?